Welcome to a review of the facelifted Opel Astra or Vauxhall Astra. Join us here and subscribe if you haven't done so far for this Astra review. Let's go! So here, the Opel Astra Facelift or Vauxhall Astra in the UK. You can see they didn't change too much in the front. Looks a little bit more modern with this dot structure in the grille right there. And those Opel wings here, they lead over to the headlamp unit. This one here, otherwise it would be in chrome. Then actually this effect is even stronger. But here this one is a black pack, so it's in shiny black right there. Again, it looks a little bit more menacing as far as it goes. But again, I think the effect that it leaps over right there is better when it's still in the normal chrome. 4.37 m, 14'3" or 172 inches is the length of the Opel Astra here as hatch. And there's also a little bit longer sports tourer available if you prefer the estate version. Then it comes here with 18-inch wheels today, beautiful, but they also start at 15-inch seals, 16-inch aluminum, 17, and then the 18 one we have right here. In the rear, the Astra still has a contemporary look, so they didn't change anything here. Well, one thing, soon going to tell you. Here, look at those tail lamps with a nice LED signature there too. And first of all, no fake exhaust tips. There are no exhaust tips visible, it's underneath. But then they also didn't go for any fake exhaust effort. I think good decision by designers. Point one. And second one, just says Astra here and that's it. Anything else? No indication for the trim, no indication for the engine. And I think that's a good decision to keep the design clear in the rear. Engines, well, one of the biggest changes here with this vehicle because they are all new indeed. You get new 3-cylinder turbo petrol engines, 1.2 with 110, 130 or 145 horsepower. And then there's a new 1.4 liter 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine, also with 145 horsepower. The one you can see here made it with a 7-speed CVT automatic gearbox. Interesting. First time we see that here in the Opel. This one was developed in the US. The 1.2 liter turbo petrol engine with the manual gearbox was developed in Germany. And they really have the aim to bring it all down below 100 grams of CO2 per kilometer. That was the goal actually, and they actually achieved it for almost all of the engines. So pretty impressive as for that. Now to the car key and the interior. Yeah, it's very close, and this way you open the vehicle, but you also have a keyless entry right here with this very knob to close or open the car. Then here we go, door closing sound. Yeah, I think we heard that one better, so not the most sophisticated one. But then here, soft touch at the inside of the doors, not super soft, but also not hard pack at all. Then this one here is also like a little bit soft. Standard window lever, so to say. But then a lot of space at the inside of the doors. That works very well. And the Opel entry badge. That looks pretty classy. Definitely. Then also soft touch dashboard right here. Steering wheel, contour stitches on the inside. Here the rubber pad here for the cruise control. This is a little bit cheaply executed, but other than that, the build quality is pretty high. So satisfied with that overall. Let me get inside. Standard compact hatch, of course, but those sport seats, they offer you enough room. So we have so far a decent, comfortable ride here. Also as taller people, 1m86 or 6'1", enough headroom. Of course, also a panoramic roof available. And the steering wheel can be adjusted like this manually. So, you know, pretty flexible as for the control, as for that. Now to the interior overview. The whole design is somewhat conservative, yes, but it's also very easy to learn. That's the advantage then. Again, soft touch here at the top of the dashboard. Then there are a lot of piano lacquers being used, not my favorite definitely. Then this design element in the lower part. The new 8-inch screen. So the software is all new, soon more details to that. Oh, that was the time as Tiesto was still doing proper music and not, this marketing charts BS as today. So, and Bose sound system, this one is new and has decent sound, not the greatest one. This one is the most optional sound system, so to say. So it's not a bad sound, not super excellent, but quite nice. And as we know from the Bose sound systems, although you have not turned up the bass, it is actually a little bit bass heavy overall from the whole setup, definitely. And now details to the new software in this top 8-inch screen, and I really like it very much. Finally, Opel managed to do something very good here as for the software. So far it was a little bit hard to use, but here first of all Apple CarPlay, Android Auto available with the cable connection. Then you just hit this hotkey, then you are right in the Apple CarPlay menu. That's cool. There's no button here to get back to the menu. That's a pity. Usually car manufacturers do offer that, but it's not a problem because you can now always press this home screen, then you're back right here again. Or hit the Apple CarPlay here, then again with the home screen. And I can actually sit here as a tall adult, no problem. There's also like this gap at the backs of the seats. Again, this is as I would be driving. There's still some decent legroom left, so not too bad this package. And headroom wise, also no problem, especially if you have no panoramic roof here. So the seating position here in the rear is also pretty much upright, pretty decent. So yeah, I think you can easily use this car with 4 adults. So you open the trunk right here under the logo. And the liter figure is 370 up to 1,210. What does that mean? Let's take a look right here. Interesting that this floor here has a structure in it. And I really like it because that, leads to less sliding luggage overall. So a great idea. It's just a minor detail, but such a great idea. So often we have like all plane covers and they slide all over the place. We also put 2 backpacks in here that you can see that it fits height-wise. Of course, you could also remove this pretty massive top cover. This is like one of the most massive top covers here for the trunk I've seen. But again, you can also remove it if you really need the space. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Opel Astra or Vauxhall Astra Facelift. This update, and we drive this new top turbo petrol engine, 1.4 liter turbo, 145 horsepower, and this new 7-speed CVT. So this was very interesting to me because I've never driven a CVT in an Opel car. Very interesting. And we have some Autobahn driving here for you today, and we also have some nice countryside driving, so all the different aspects for you. So there's the ACC also, there is a speed limiter as well. And when you have the ACC now, what does it do differently? It also has this stop and go function, for example, reduces speed to 0 and then stop and go in traffic, for example. So that's definitely pretty helpful. You can also adjust the distance to the car in front of you. That's also possible. Then you can set the adaptive cruise control here on the left to steering wheel. Yeah, this rubber control is not that much high class, one of the few flaws here. And as we said earlier, the quality impression is quite good. Now the distance to the car in front of us is being kept like this. So we are at the moment here, come on, dismiss, about 50 kilometers, and let's accelerate to at least 80. Yeah. Plop. Here we go, that was 86 already. So, of course, not a explosion in acceleration, but still somewhat decent. And also sound-wise, didn't give us like this totally experience we have with some CVTs. So that might also be, in this one here is a turbo. And a lot of the other CVTs, for example in Toyotas and Lexus, they're coupled with naturally aspirated engines. And therefore they also need more RPM to get going finally. And here with the turbo, you have the support by the turbo, and then you don't need to max out those RPMs that much. What about acceleration when we are already at speed at about 80 kilometers? Let's do it out here on the motorway in Germany, the famous Autobahn. Yay! Interesting. That's 150. And 170 kilometers. So noise insulation is really good now at those higher speeds. You know, like at 110 I saw it like, okay, that's somewhat average, but now when we are really much faster, I think the great wind efficiency plays a bigger effect. And now, considering also other segment vehicles at really high speed, this is very decently silent. Yay! Countryside driving the new Opel Astra Facelift. And good feeling here in the steering wheel. And we're going up the hill. So how does the CVT perform here? Here again, lane change. It's a lot of fun, especially with the sport suspension. So really nice steering and suspension setup. The car feels very agile, very nice, very well in control. They also have better brake feeling now because it's an electric support of the brakes, not by vacuum from the engine. That is also a little bit more efficient. Warning for the cyclists here. Really cool. And yeah, the sound that the CVT creates together with this engine is actually quite fine. So it is actually one of the best sounding CVTs we've been driving so far. Next right corner here. And you have to remember, this is a normal compact segment vehicle. It's nothing special. Yeah, we have the sport suspension here, which makes it a little bit more agile. But this is a approachable car as for the price you pay. So a lot of vehicles which are like super expensive, and then they also perform very well. But I think it's not so special than having a car which you can actually still pay for, even if you're not rich, and it still performs very well. Now, of course, we pick a little bit up, more RPMs up, but that's totally fine. Also drive a little bit faster now, push a little bit more. So the Jonas also wakes up from his morning sleep here. I think it's still fine, you know. So of course it's not like a V8 sound or something, but totally fine. And again, low noise level here, so between just over 80 kilometers an hour, and it's really a lot of fun to drive this car up the hill here. So I'm really surprised how they made this car even a little bit better here with a facelift in many different small aspects. Really a very good drive. So, and considering the price performance then of this car, yeah, I think this facelift is really worth going for. Also the GPS let us very well here. Jonas also found it pretty cool because he's an Android user and this GPS is really Android alike. But you know, me as an Apple user, I found it also pretty cool. And beautiful roads here up the Taunus region, up the Feldberg. So, was a very nice ride here with the Astra facelift. I'm pretty convinced. And now to our conclusion for today with the Opel Astra facelift, or the Vauxhall Astra, again for our friends in the UK. So they haven't changed too much visually, but they also asked the customers if they wanted that, and actually they said no in their surveys. So they said, well, you know, why should we change something majorly? Yes, a little bit of the front grille then, of course. Still with the Matrix LED headlamp, quite unique in this segment. Interior also quite well processed, here and there maybe a little bit more tweaks, but overall great to have the new infotainment system, easy to use, better software overall, pretty fast now, especially here in this high trim 8-inch spec, so I can really recommend that. Definitely adds more to the driving as well because you control it better while driving, and the driving itself is really more agile and comfortable at the same time. So it's about a very convincing driving episode in different conditions. We had this car here today, pretty cool. I also really like this CVT automatic gearbox. Maybe this one in combination with the bigger engines, also a little bit higher in consumption than about 6-7 liters per 1 kilometers at least than the smaller petrol engine, which was also developed in Germany. But still, I think it's a decent combination. Yeah, it's not a compact vehicle where you have super high figures as for the horsepower output, but for most customers this will be totally sufficient as for the power. And again, the CVT is also a very comfortable solution. You still have the manual gearbox as a possibility. Yes, also very famous here for motorbikes, this very beautiful roads here. So overall, a very convincing presentation from this car here. Yeah, and about the price. I mean, it still starts just a little bit below 20k euros in Germany, and that's of course a pretty cool price. And for like 30k, you can get a very, very decent spec for that. So the price performance is still something where this car is really, up to date and really cool. Also, if you compare it to the competitors, it's maybe not the most striking car as for the emotional appeal, but again, it drives very well and had a lot of fun driving it, both on the motorway high speeds and also up those winding corners. And again, I can just remind that it has a very good price performance character. So I think this one is still a quite good hit here in the compact segment. What's your take on that? Please leave me in the comments, and also tune into more Autogefühl episodes. Subscribe if you haven't done so far. See you next time.